Okay, hi. Today we're going to talk about externality, okay, and for introduction to economics, okay, we're only going to talk about, negative externality, right? So, let's start by storytelling, okay, I'll tell you a story, okay, there's this economy, okay, where, there's a river, okay, don't worry, this is not going to be a typical Amos Wisdom example. So there is a river, and in the river there's a lot of fish. Okay, fish. Okay, and we live on the fish. Okay, so we eat fish. So like x equals to fish. Okay, and we also live on cows. Right, cows. Let y be cows. Okay, and also assuming that your labor market, is perfectly competitive. Right? Okay. So the fishes are in the water, right? Okay, and over here, you have the area, where people are fishing, right? So they catch the fish from here. Okay, then now all the cows, they are put inside this house over here. This not really a house. Okay, this what the cows live in, barn or something. Okay, yeah, the cows live in a barn. Okay, they look like this, and they are being slaughtered inside here. Alright, so last time the technology to slaughter the cow, is to inject, some poison, up the ass, alright. Needle, inject the poison up the ass, alright, and then they will die a peaceful death. Okay, so it's fine. So now everything's good. Okay, there's no externality. Alright, now let's introduce something, right? So now there's a new technology. This new technology helps in the production of cows, or beef whatever. So basically what happens is that it makes killing of the cows easier. So you can produce more beef. Alright, so sorry, we'll change this to beef. Alright, so the new technique, is let's call this the cow killer, and basically it's just this, chainsaw kind of thing, and what it does is, you just gotta take it, then you just gotta slice off all the cow's heads, it's very fast, and it's faster than the poison. But this time you just gotta chop off the freaking head, and then the head will come off, and then you can start to make your beef with it. So the production of Y will increase a lot. You have a lot of beef now, but in the process, well, these people are using the new technology to cut the cow's head off. I think that looks like a freaking cow. While they are doing that, because they have never seen such brutality, right? So what happens is that every time they cut one cow's head, they need to go out to the river, and they need to start throwing up all the shit. They start to vomit, because it's so disgusting, and then they start to vomit all over the shop. So they vomit, and then the vomit is so toxic, right? Because there are so many of them vomiting. Vomit. Every time they kill a cow, they have to vomit. So this vomit starts to kill the fishes, right? Maybe this one survives, lucky fish. Die. So there are now lesser fishes in the sea. But the fishermen, their productivity would, how their skills will not be affected. So their marginal product, will not be different. So this is a story. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm taking a bit longer to explain this part because I want you to have a very clear picture. So what's gonna happen now? The first thing that will happen, we must be very aware of this, is that our PPF is going to shift outwards. Now the externality comes from the production of the beef. Forgive me, let me change this to X and I change this to Y. I think it'll be easier this way. So the production of cows now is much easier, so we actually end up producing more cows, so PPF is actually shifted outwards. So this is one thing that you need to know. Second thing, now we gotta look at the market equilibriums. Okay, let's look at the market for X. Okay, that's the beef, right? Price. You look at the market for Y, which is your fish. Okay, so now this is usually what we will get: demand, okay, and supply. And the demand, okay, is affected by the price of Y. Okay, why? Because let's say there are gross substitutes. You know, the price of Y increases. What will happen to the demand for this? It will increase if there are gross substitutes, and if it's complements, you just work the other way. Okay, so same thing. Alright, the demand for Y is going to depend on the price of X. Okay, and the supply curve will depend on labor. Okay, so here we got our equilibrium right there. Okay, now we can actually draw another line up here. Okay, and this supply curve over here shows us the cost that society has to pay. Now, for the firms, they're just paying wages, but what does the society really have to pay? Okay, it boils down to this. Okay, when you do this, 1 over the marginal product of X coming from labor, okay, you're basically showing us how much labor do I need to produce 1 unit of X. Okay, you multiply that by wages, you will get the marginal cost, right? So now the problem is that society is paying a price for consuming X. And what is that? They're paying, okay, for the externality cost. Price of Y multiplied by the marginal product from labor, which actually comes up with Z. And Z, okay, is our puke, right? And multiply by the marginal product, okay, of Z, okay, to produce Y. Now let me explain these numbers one by one. Okay, this price, okay, will give us a more realistic figure. Okay, it will give us this figure in the units of price. So that's why we must multiply it by price. Now, MPZ, okay, for L, alright, basically means, okay, how much puke is produced, okay, when one guy is working. Okay, so basically it means 1 unit of labor can produce how much puke. Alright, now for this portion over here, okay, it's basically how much, alright, okay, of Y is affected. So how many fishes are killed with 1, okay, unit of Z. So fishes killed, okay, by 1Z. Right, so this gives us our whole figure, and you combine this together. This, okay, is the total cost that society is gonna have to bear. Okay, so you must be able to produce this equation during the exam. Okay, and okay, let's go on to the next part. Okay, now, okay, we go to the general equilibrium analysis. Okay, and remember, we always got to calculate the slope of the PPF first. Now you see that the PPF has changed. Okay, and if you watch the video on general equilibrium analysis, okay, basically the gradient of the PPF will be something like this. Right? Okay, so now things are going to be different. Okay, let's start step by step. Every time I give up producing 1 unit of Y, okay, what happens? I have to give up 1 unit of labor, or a certain unit of labor. Okay, and this unit of labor, what can it do for Y? What could it have done for Y? Okay, so you have to multiply that by the marginal product of labor, okay, producing Y. Now we are very clear about this. However, we have to know, okay, that when we are producing Y, we are also producing the externality that comes with it, that is from X. I know this is a bit confusing, but think about it. When you produce X, do you think the producers really care about the puke going to the water? They won't. Okay, that's why. Okay, for the change in Y, every time we produce more Y, we incur more of the externality. Therefore, you have to add, okay, this, and we have gone through this just now. Okay, now for X, it's gonna be the same. Why? Because they don't really give a shit. Okay, whether how many people puke in the sea, right? They just don't care. Right, so you take these two, you divide by one another, you get the gradient formula. Cancel, cancel. Alright, so you get this whole thing over here. Video's getting a bit lengthy. Okay, just bear with me for a while, we're almost done. We get this. So now this is the gradient of the slope. And now, okay, I want you to take a look at the price line. Okay, now just bear in mind that even though there's externalities, okay, as given as a market structure, even though they're perfectly competitive, they will still want to produce at P equals to MC. Okay, and that is also for X and for Y. So now we know, okay, learning from the general equilibrium video, that this is the slope of the price line. Okay, and MC, okay, if it has got no externality, it should be equal to this. But now instead we have this. Okay, so now with the top part here having all that puke and all that shit coming up from the production of beef, would this figure be bigger than this? Be bigger than this guy? Of course, right? This is going to be bigger than this guy. So what does it tell us? The slope of the PPF, alright, is going to be steeper than the price line. Right, so now, okay, we go back to our PPF, the graph right here, and we're just going to explain that, okay, very simply. So now we are over at this new PPF over here. Okay, if it's a perfect competition, okay, in all markets, no externality, this is what we will get, correct, as discussed in the general equilibrium analysis, where the price line is tangent to the PPF as well as the indifference curve. But now, because the production of X has been made easier with that saw-like thingy, alright, so we'll be producing more X, we'll be going this way. Okay, so we'll be somewhere here. And Y will be reducing. Why? Because the fishes are being killed, man. So now we know that the slope of the PPF is measured by a tangent, and we know, okay, that through this calculation over here, the slope of the PPF is going to be steeper than the price line. So I just have to draw a line that is more gentle than the PPF. Okay, so this is my new price line right now. Okay, yeah, PX over PY. Okay, so in order for society to maximize its consumption, it will end up at, okay, a tangent, okay, to the price line. And now you see that we are on a lower indifference curve. Now this generates the deadweight loss, okay, and this deadweight loss, okay, is a loss in utility, okay, that society has, right? It's going downwards, so therefore they are not better off, they are worse off. Okay, so in an economy where there's externality, okay, this is how you analyze the situation. Okay, before I end this video, I just wanna say thanks to all of you viewers out there, and thank you for your support as well as your contribution. Okay, without you guys, I don't think I would have the motivation to actually make these videos. So I wish you all the best, and I'm really thankful to have, okay, you guys as my friends and my viewers. Right, thank you very much.